Hi, it's Kelsey. I have been working on a project for my Zen junk journals I'm making. This time I'm working on a butterfly booklet. An assortment of pages, various things for whatever inspires someone when they get ready to jot something down or glue something into this tiny little book. I tried to use stamps that represented like a vacation where you go to the beach. Here's a Bermuda stamp. Here's New Zealand with a volcano and water. It's reflecting in the water. Let's see. And on this side, there's a world map. Here's a rubber ducky in some water. It's not as, and a Ajman stamp with a sailboat in water, but you can't see it very well. Here's a castle. If you go on an adventure to Bermuda, you can go to the castle. It's just something fun, but I thought I'd show you what I did to make this. First, you have to use a die. This die's from Temu. It was $5.98 plus $2.99 shipping. It came from a local warehouse in the United States. I ended up paying $5.88 total. Temu knocked the price down on it for some reason, trying to get me to bite, and I did. It was under $6. So I essentially got free shipping. But it's a layered piece, and if you used all the pieces, you'd have a butterfly, even the body. You would have that section cut out, and you could layer it. I'm sure it would look really cute. I'm just not into that right now. I wanted a cute little book. There's a flower. It looks like this is the center of the flower, and there's a leaf. There's also this funny little tag. It's kind of like it's a plate with letters and numbers, kind of like a little clothing tag with your code for your particular piece of clothing so they can identify who it belongs to. But that's really cool every now and then to use that on something. But I only used this piece. And what's nice about it, if you have a giant butterfly die already, you can probably do this, but you have to leave a section here to do what I've done to hold all your pages together. So basically what I did was I used one of my stamp collage pages, and it's normally a piece of cardstock or file folder, and I just go in, I lay I lay the die down for a wing one direction, and then I turn it over and I cut it from another direction. Of course, there will be more of the collage sheet to cut. It's just for example purposes. This is what I'm showing you. And basically, you'll cut out the front, and then you'll get the mirror image of it from the back side. You'll turn your paper over, and that's what I did. I ended up with more wings, and I went in and did a little stenciling, etc. on the back. I'll show you what I did. And then I started cutting out fun pages. Usually, if I would just take the page, fold it in half, and cut two at a time. So I just made a little collection of pages that I wanted to use. Then I grabbed some distress sprays. These are stains. And I grabbed my oxide. It's faded jeans. This is tumbled glass. And this is weathered wood. Now, I never use oxides for anything unless I'm doing the smudging and spraying on glass, and then I dip my piece into it. I'm not sure what people call that, but that's normally what I do. This time I went ahead and I used it when I stenciled. I used a stencil like this because I liked the pattern. It was kind of floral. Looked really cool. And it's actually a ephemera stencil. If you want to go on Amazon and find it, you can. That was out, what, 7-8 years ago? Ephemera stuff was really popular. So, okay. I stenciled, and then I just spritzed a little, and I let it dry. The next thing I did was I ran to the sewing machine and I stitched all the way around. And it's not, you have to go slow because you're turning and you want to make sure to keep the needle on the piece. But I made sure to come up along here and kind of run back and forth there just to make sure everything was secure on both pieces. Then I grab my pages. Yeah, I'm losing pages. I grab my pages and I get my little covers ready. And what I decided to do was, they had holes and they showed little rings like those Tim Holtz tiny rings for ring binding, for, I guess it's ring binding, a binder journal type thing. And I didn't like it so much. I just thought the pages weren't going to last long in there, like they might rip, because some of this stuff is very sheer. Let me see if I can find one to show you. Like this, it's almost a vellum and onion skin type paper, and I just didn't want to leave that hanging with some little loose ring binder clips or whatever they're called. So I went ahead and grabbed my stapler and just stapled both of these little sections between the holes. And so there, but it's ugly. It's not pretty like that. So I grabbed some black paper and I just folded it around and decided how big I wanted it. I just basically wanted it as long as this, so I would make a mark, trim it. I'll show you this piece that I've already fixed. But I'd get a small piece and then I'd go back in and play with it until I had it go in as far as I wanted it. I wanted to have the stitching covered. So basically, that's it. You just fold it like that. But the edge is still white, so you can take a Sharpie and do this all around the edge. You don't have to buy another ink pad if you don't have another ink pad. Say you bought the tea dye, Tim Holtz Distress Ink or Oxide tea dye, or a vintage photo, and that's all you have. Use a Sharpie, and Sharpie comes in different colors. So it's still lined up. I'm going to grab my Fabri-Tac. If you don't have Fabri-Tac, you can use Beacon 3-in-1, but I just want this to really stick. They had tiny little tubes of Fabri-Tac at Dollar Tree this week, so you can buy a tiny tube of it, kind of like E6000, and bring it home and do a few little projects. You can put the lid back on it and it'll stay for a while. I'm sure it'll last a good while, but you know, hey, you don't have to buy the $11.99 bottle like mine at Walmart. And by the way, they don't have any more, they don't carry Fabri-Tac at Hobby Lobby anymore. I'm very sad about that because Hobby Lobby Fabri-Tac is my favorite glue other than Uhu. So I just go around and make sure it's really stuck. I also like to trim this tiny little bit right here, just to make sure there's not this little piece that's going to get beat up quite a bit. And then I have to go back and dab some black on there. But that is basically all you do. And I will try to link the link to this particular die in the information section below. I was contemplating adding a few little buttons just for fun, but I just think that's too busy, and it might be a little lumpy for the journal. But these are cardstock buttons I've made. I have dies. You don't have to have dies to make these. And I have a short, like 4-minute video. Maybe last week I posted it. I'm going to show you how to make those and what you use to make them that most people throw away. So have fun. If you have a chance to make these, let me know. Bye-bye.